What's up, people? We're live. Supposed to be live on Mondays. That's my day. I try to do the thing, but it's Christmas season. I'm a UPS driver. Gets a little nuts. It gets a little nuts. So, kind of have to make an adjustment for today. Had to go live on a Tuesday. Why? Because I got home a little earlier. That's why. Simple math. Simple math. Well, we have some interesting things to discuss. And I was trying to think of what to start with. What do we start with? How about the drone show in New Jersey? Apparently it's not just New Jersey. It's a lot of places on the East Coast. Tennessee, for instance. And I find it kind of funny that so Trump comes out and he's like, well, of course the government knows. He's like, the military knows. They know where they came from. They know where they're going. And everyone's like, well, he has no evidence of this. So, dude, he gets security briefings. He's now the president-elect, not just a former president, but a president-elect. I'm not saying he knows everything, but he's like, yeah, they should come out and just say what they're doing. Because, look, these drones are supposed to be like the size of cars, not like the little drone from Target, but like actually advanced drones. You really think Iran or anybody, China, Russia, anybody could get some drones into our airspace without them being, blown to hell? Of course not. And they would be blown to hell unless it was ours. There's no other reason for them to be flying around. The government, I don't know. We don't know what they are, but they're not hostile, so don't worry about it. Really, they're not hostile, so don't worry about it. How do you know they're hostile? How do you know they're fine? How do you know they're not trying to, laser somebody in the eye or shoot a Scud missile up someone's ass? How do you know they're not trying to do anything? I mean, you're saying you don't know anything about them. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. This shit doesn't add up. Shit doesn't add up. They're basically insulting everyone's intelligence. And that's fine. They've been doing that shit for years. I mean, do you actually believe one magic bullet killed JFK and the dude sitting in front of him just went in and out of both of them? One damn bullet. And then it magically appears in the hospital, this bullet that has literally no damage on it. It went through bone and sinew and I mean, when the government says magic, don't believe it. Don't believe it. Believe eyewitness testimony on the ground. There were more than a couple handful of shots. There were shots from a grassy knoll. There were people that saw gunmen past a certain fence over there. And apparently a lot of those witnesses died shortly thereafter. But no, nothing to see here. All this stuff is still, so much of this stuff, the paperwork side, the investigative side of the JFK assassination, all these years later, decades upon decades upon decades, is still classified. They say it needs to be classified for another 75 years. That's what they did. Why Trump didn't release it the first time, or he said he's thinking about releasing it this time, like everything. It just goes to show you this country is not really our country anymore. That's all I'll tell you about it. And now there's talk about, oh, maybe some unaccounted for nuke floating around out there. Maybe some, some radioactive material. Radioactive material. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're scouring for. Yeah, there's some shit going on, and it's probably not good. But yeah, the government, Trump's exactly right. Everyone knows. All right, the military knows. The Pentagon knows. The CIA knows. Probably the FBI know. The President of the United freaking States of America absolutely freaking knows. That would be Joe Biden right now. Yeah, they know. They know. They ain't going to tell you, but they know. They're looking for something. That's it. They're looking for something. Don't know what, but it's something. And let me just say one thing definitively. It ain't aliens. It's not aliens. Number one, aliens don't exist, folks. At least on this planet. Do you have any idea how big the universe is? I mean, our first radio broadcasts, you know how far those have gotten? I don't believe they've reached Proxima Centauri, which is the closest star to ours. Hasn't gone very far. No, no. The universe is gargantuan. It's unimaginable how big it is. Even at light speed, you can't really get anywhere in a hurry. The closest star, light speed wise, would still take you over a year travel just to get there at light speed. And just to travel just within our galaxy, one of hundreds of millions of galaxies. at light speed, you're talking decades to get to some other places within our own galaxy, much less a whole nother galaxy. Now you're talking centuries. The dumb shit. I mean, science at some point becomes science fiction. Everyone becomes a Trekkie, regardless of the PhD hanging on their wall, and they just make shit up. Well, here's some math that says it could be. Oh. Thank you for the math that says it could be. And by the way, don't put all your hope in math either. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea. I'll tell you how it's a bad idea. Let me give you a simple, just a freaking simple word problem. They'll tell you the problem with math. It was created by men who were imperfect in the first place. But here's the word problem. Okay. You got three guys. They're traveling, stop in at a town. It's getting late at night. They're tired. They've been traveling all day. So they pull up into the hotel. And now I'm going to use small numbers. Keep things really simple to show you how imperfect math can be. So these three guys pull up to the hotel, talk to the manager. Hey, we need a room. And he's like, well, we do have a room. There's a convention in town. Everyone's booked up. And just in case you're going to look, every hotel in town, motel in town, everything, they're all booked. But we do have one. We had a last minute cancellation, so we do have one. And this isn't a big town, so there's not a lot of hotels. So, like, you know what? We're dead tired. We'll figure it out. We'll take it. Okay. How much is the room? Room's $10. All right, so they throw $10 at them. Bellboy comes, gets their luggage, takes them up to their room. Bellboy comes back downstairs. Manager's like, man, 3 guys crammed into one room. Not even a premium room, right? It's just a room. So he calls the bellboy over. Come here. I'm going to give you $3. Take it up to them. We're giving them a discount since they had all 3 guys got to split this room. That sucks. So we're going to take some money off of it. Here's $3. Go give it to him. No problem. So the bellboy is in the elevator on his way up, has the $3 in his hand, and realized, hey, I never got a tip for bringing their crap up here. So he takes one of the dollars, folds it up, puts it in his pocket. Goes up to the room, knocks on the door, hands him the $2. Right? Now let's do the math. They paid $10 for the room, correct? After their discount, they actually paid $8 for the room. Now the bellboy himself kept $1 for a tip, right? So they got refunded $2. They paid $8. Bellboy kept $1. That's $9. Where's the 10th dollar? See what I mean? But math's going to solve everything. Look, math is good. I mean, math was used to create the pyramids, the Sears Tower, the new Freedom Tower. You know, some of the greatest bits of architecture in human history, math was used. But it doesn't solve everything. And math was created by man. So, as that word problem showed you, it's incorrect. Now, all the money in that word problem is accounted for. It's all $10. The only way to get the proper amount at the end of that story is you've got to change the story. Now, simple word problem. Now go to advanced calculus. Go to some of the insane freaking math and astrophysics to try to work out, black holes and how they work and all the theories of how the universe could possibly work, how to fold space and get to some point A to point B in an instant. All the math behind that. Way, way, way more advanced with countless variables. Variables that we don't know may even exist. And you're going to tell me that I'm supposed to believe all this horse shit? Dark energy, everything, aliens? Sorry. I don't buy into it. There's too much. So, no, I don't believe in aliens. Okay. So the drones aren't aliens. I'm sorry. If you're expecting aliens, you're expecting to hear radio broadcasts from SETI or something to confirm there is an alien presence somewhere. No, because even if you did hear something that was artificial by some other, society somewhere else, by the time that radio broadcast got to you, they're probably already extinct. Their sun is probably already exploded because it would have taken thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years for that signal to get to you. And what signals are getting to you that are already being eaten up by some other broadcast of stars, supernovas, you name it. It's like sound waves going through a forest. It's going to hit a tree, right? Well, how many trees are in this galactic forest? A few hundred billion? Guys, it ain't. No, convince me of that. So, yeah, the government knows about the drones. They know what the drones are. They just ain't telling nobody. Let's don't be shocked. Let's don't jump to the alien bandwagon, which is the dumbest shit ever. All right. Now we got that out of the way. let's get to the game that most impacts the Big 12, Arizona State, are representative in the playoff. Who you got? Who you got coming up? Texas or Clemson? Texas or Clemson? Who do you want? Who do you think Arizona State has the best chance of getting, of beating, and moving on? That's a tough one, isn't it? It's not. That's not the easy. Now, the easiest answer would say you would prefer Clemson. They got 3 losses. If Syracuse can beat them, damn it, Arizona State can beat them. I hear you. Now, I've made the mistake before, different sports at different times, and sometimes football. I'll see a team that has played nobody. All right. And like Texas, they got 2 losses, but it's the same team, Georgia. Now, does that mean they can't really beat a good team? Or does it mean they just have a really hard time beating Georgia? The matchups might be something that they just can't overcome with that particular team. You know, like a team like Alabama was able to beat them. I want to say Ole Miss was able to beat Georgia. So there's 2 teams that not in the playoffs. Good teams, just not playoff teams. They were able to beat Georgia, but Texas struggles. Now, they did a lot better on their last outing, but they still came up short. So that's the question, right? Because outside of that, they've really faced no really good teams. Texas A&M, what are they, 8-4? I don't know how good they are. You know, ask who got them? Auburn, man. Why don't we ask Auburn how good Texas A&M is? Don't know. So who do you want? Who would you rather have to deal with for if you're an Arizona State fan or a Big 12 fan that's pulling for Arizona State? I think right now the most evidence is Clemson. I think we should pull for Clemson. I'm not saying Clemson can't beat Arizona State. They can. They can. But I think when you add in all the evidence here, I think Texas should scare you a little bit more. And that shouldn't be a shock. It shouldn't be a surprise. SEC team, the runner-up in the SEC. And Texas may not have a problem. We won't know until this playoff. We really won't know. They should beat Clemson. I mean, I guess they should be. They should beat them. It's hard to know that. It's hard. Just because we've had such a small sample size of quality opponents for Texas. Hasn't been many. I'm not saying that Clemson's the shit, but they did beat SMU, I respect SMU a lot. That's coming from a TCU fan. And I respect SMU quite a bit, and Clemson beat them. Clemson was able to beat them. I didn't have that. I thought SMU would probably take care of business, but Clemson did. So I think I have to say Texas favored, but I think we need to pull for Clemson. I think we have more evidence of them losing to teams that are on Arizona State's level, like Syracuse. Now, I think Arizona State's probably better than Syracuse. So I do like Arizona State. I do like their chances against Clemson. I'm not saying they don't have a chance against Texas. They absolutely do. But I don't care how should you say? I don't care how good or not, or if Homeboy's healthy, their starting quarterback, because they have a deep quarterback room. So, I can't remember his freaking name. Their freaking starter. Keep wanting to say Ewing, like the old Dallas show. No, That's not it. But even for whatever reason he's not healthy, they got quarterbacks. They got Arch Manning. They'll be fine at quarterback. Clemson, to me, is the team you need to root for. Hopefully, they can provide something and for real provide a real problem for Texas and can win that thing because I do think Arizona State can pull off a win against Clemson, and we can get into the next round. But no matter what, we need to show up for Arizona State. Watch, listen, radio, people live streaming, do that. But yeah, support Arizona State. Support them. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to support them. Next topic. That's all I got on that. Private equity in the Big 12. There has been, I don't know, should we call it reporting? I guess we can call it reporting. There's been word around the campfire. How's that? I like that. There's some word around the campfire that not every Big 12 team is on board with private equity. Now, that's been out there for a while. And even now with this what do they call it? Smash Capital. They're a little look, Big 12 teams, get on board. This is the future. It's coming. When you have the NFL let select private equity come in, then who are you to say, oh no? What are you talking about? The NFL, you're talking about one of the most what is the proper word for that? Selective? That's not the word I want. But you're talking, it's a 32 membership club. 32. And even if you have the money to buy in, that doesn't mean they're going to let you. Oh, you're the highest bidder? Cute. No, we don't want you. We don't want you in the club. Exclusive. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the most exclusive club in the country, probably in the world. So when they let private equity come in to their little clubhouse, what are you doing? And I don't care what team it is. I mean, I support TCU. If it's TCU, what the hell are you doing? Well, we don't want to sell off a piece. You need to build this thing. And that's going to require partners that are more powerful, more thought forward than you are, more influential, because we all know it's not always what you know, it's who you know. So if you got a big time partner, private equity partner, just think about it in terms of your media rights deal. There's one coming up in 2031. I know it's 6 years away, but 6 years goes by pretty fast. You got to start planning for this shit. Now, ESPN and Fox, maybe they offer you a little more money. There's a little more money. But now you got a private equity partner. They want that return on investment, the ROI. The biggest way they're going to get that return is when that media rights deal goes up. And what are they going to do? Do you think they're going to settle for whatever little peanuts? No. They want to see this shit double. Now that sounds insane. It sounds insane to me that you're going to go from 31.7 million a year to 60 million a year. Maybe you don't. But they're looking in the 50s. They want, that's the quickest way for them to get that lovely ROI. It's for that media rights to skyrocket. And they've been talking not just to the Big 12, but to the ACC as well. I think what private equity would like to do is see us not, it didn't have to be a full merger, although private equity does do a lot of that and has often been used for mergers. But what they can do, you got two partners, you come together, you negotiate together. I've made a video about this. So with private equity, if the Big 12 and ACC can join forces, not just in scheduling, but also in negotiating media rights deals and other types of negotiations out there, some corporate sponsorships. Now, both conferences would be independent of each other and be able to do business independently of each other. However, with private equity in there, some of that might be more shared than maybe they would like to right now. But I think it would eventually get there. But most importantly, if you have the Big 12 and the ACC working together to negotiate a contract, the next media rights deal, and the ACC can essentially dissolve itself and then rebuild itself into a workable conference, maybe minus a couple of people that are suing, and come together, have a partnership with the Big 12, negotiate together, which means media companies can't pit one against the other, kind of like they did with the ACC and the Big 12. I'm sorry, the Pac 12 and the Big 12. But they wouldn't be, if you're working together, they can't do that with the Big 12 and the ACC because both commissioners are in the room. Theoretically, someone from Smash Capital would be in the room. And Smash Capital is going to say, look, we've invested however, 1-2 billion, whatever it is, into this thing. We want our ROI. So no, we're not going to do your little bullshit media rights deal. No. We're going to need far more than that. We're going to need far more than that. And these are, I know with Smash Capital, they have people that have worked for media companies before. They know the money that's out there. They know, and this is why they're wanting to invest, and it is hot and heavy with private equity. A lot of different firms out there having no trouble raising money, billions of dollars, to invest in live sports because in entertainment circles, it's the one thing you can rely on that you can make money with. I mean, if you look at the media landscape, I mean, you don't know. There's certain ways to make money with music, but it's harder to do now than it ever has been before. Making movies, it's a tricky investment. It always has been, but it's way, way, way more risky now. TV shows, whether they're serialized, whether it's reality TV, whatever it is, everything's going into the shitter. Even shows like CSI and all that what used to make all the bank. Those types of shows, they don't have the audience they used to have. They don't have the kind of viewership they once did. But what has carried the water for many networks out there is live sports. The interest is there. In a lot of ways, that interest is growing. It's growing in basketball. It's growing in women's basketball and other women's sports as well. Live sports is not going anywhere. It's tried and true. It's a safe bet. It's like, okay, I want to play the stock market, but I think I might just do a mutual fund. Of all the big companies out there, You're not going to get a ton of return on the investment, but your money is safe in there. Well, with something like the Big 12 and the ACC, especially if they're partnered up, there's a lot of ROI to be had for these companies. That's why they want in. Bottom line, it's the future. It's the future. And they got to get off their dead ass and do it. Look at here, we got us a comment. AAR. What is going on, my friend? And just what is West Virginia Mountaineers private equity value? What is their value? It's not just one team, AAR. What's the whole conference worth? What's the whole conference worth when you have at least half the conference that can, or more, that can pull down on average over 1 million viewers a week? What is that worth? It's worth a lot. I mean, private equity knows Fox, ESPN, Warner Brothers Discovery, NBC, CBS. They know how much value there is to those entities with live sports. But now you have bigger players coming in. You have Amazon coming into the fold, wanting to get into it. Apple TV has been wanting to expand live sports. Netflix, there's big monsters with huge, deep pockets that are getting into this thing. Yeah, I mean, you got private equity wanting to get into the ACC or the AAC. Sorry, AAC. They'll probably get involved with the new Pac-12. And for probably for money that you're gonna like, wow, that's a lot for those. It's live sports content, and the number one sport in the country. It's worth a lot. The value is there. K-State, Iowa State, Utah Utes, BYU is likely a no. Well, that would surprise me if BYU is likely a no. That would surprise me. Now, is it because of the Sunday thing? Maybe it is. But there's workarounds. I don't believe anybody is a no right off the jump. Now, if you look at it the way the NFL has structured their private equity, they've basically regulated it. They've told all the private equity firms they can only buy 10% of a team. So it's not the whole league, it's per team. So they can do 10%. They can invest in it up to 6 teams, and that's it. And not just any private equity firm can come in there. They have to have league approval in order to do that. And that the league is going to take some of that return on investment for themselves. Now, that's something the NFL has done that maybe other leagues can't do because they're not as popular. I'm not saying the Big 12 can do all those things, but there are certain regulations you can have, and those regulations are going to come naturally to a private equity firm, because now you're not just dealing with pro schools or pro teams. You're dealing with schools, many of them being public universities. So it gets a little trickier in the college game. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, what are you going to take over a school? You're going to buy the school? But, and look, private equity, that's not always a forever thing either. There's been plenty of times, like I can't remember which baseball team is going up for sale, East Coast team. Anyway, they got a private equity deal. The private equity deal, they're going to pull out. They're going to pull out of the deal because there's a sale going on, and they may get back involved later. Those kind of things happen. So People act like this is like some kind of subprime loan or some shit. It's not. You're taking on a partner with connections that can actually help you in negotiation and help you get more money. There's no downside here. There really isn't. And there's natural protections because you are a school. AAR, Baylor Bears, Texas Tech, TCU are likely in. Okay. Oklahoma State, don't know. It's a conservative group. Well, here's the thing. If Baylor, TCU, and Texas Tech are in, and it's only going to be a matter of time. It's only going to be a matter of time. Because I think Houston and UCF and Cincinnati would fall. If that's what Yormark wants to do, I think they'll do it. Like if BYU, there may be some. I'm not saying anyone's a no, a definitive, absolutely not no right now. But maybe down the line, they may have issues that need to be worked through. So right now it's about let's work through some issues and see if we can't make it work because it needs to work. These folks refuse to form their own network. Well, here's the thing, AR. I don't have a problem with them not forming a network right now. When you have networks failing left and right, and just because it worked out for the Big Ten and the SEC doesn't. And right now, it has appeared to have worked out for the ACC as well, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out for the Big 12. I would just no. I'm not a big fan of doing a network right now. Just like I said, that's based off of linear money, and y'all should know by now how I feel about the linear product. It's going in the shitter, and it's going to get replaced by digital streaming. So, what's the point of a network at that point? If not, they'd already be in. Well, like I said, it's private equity. Anything that's new is going to take some time. It's going to be, like I said, these people are a little scared of things happening. Oh, private equity, we've never done that before. Well, you never had any success without Texas and Oklahoma in the fold before either. So now you're doing that. So let's go. And like I said, we're not in the room. We don't know. I don't know. But and there's no doubt there's going to be some teams that are going to, have different concerns about private equity, and they're going to need to be dealt with and talked about. But here's an interesting question. Is it going to take all 16 members? Does it have to be unanimous? Because I believe right now it's what? I think you have to have 12. Like 4 can dissent and it can still pass. Whatever the issue is, whatever the vote is, doesn't have to be about private equity. It can be about whatever. But I believe it's 12, 10 or 12, somewhere in there. Now, you don't want it to come to that. But if it's really important for this league to do, okay, then are you going to dissent? Okay, then go ahead and dissent. And in 2031, you can piss off. Look, there's nobody in the Big 12 is irreplaceable. Nobody's Texas. Nobody's Oklahoma. Hell, there's no one's Nebraska. No one's Nebraska right now. So and I do mean any team is absolutely 100% replaceable. They can be replaced with a G5. You can go pluck Memphis and put them in. You go grab Tulane. put them in. Oregon State, put them in. Washington State, put them in. Go ahead. Tear your ass in 2031. Let's see where you go. Because it's not going to be either one of the big two. So, if you got the votes to pass it, you don't want, look, Brett Yormark doesn't want to do that. I can tell you right now, he doesn't want to do that. So the people who might have an issue, oh, I'm kind of a no right now. We got to know more. We got questions. You got to address all that. Get as many as you can on board. If people turn into absolutely hard no's, well, we're going to take a vote. Because the other teams that are absolutely on board will want to vote. And okay, it's democracy. If we can get the whatever it is, 10, 12, then this shit's going to pass and we're going to do it. And if you don't want to be a part of it, tear your ass. Tear your ass. Let's see where you go. Pac-12 is looking for big members. You know, the American would love to have you. Mountain West would absolutely love to have you. The MAC has always got a spot for you. The SEC, the Big Ten, not as much. Not as much. AAR, been watching for 5 decades. That's cool. That's how we got in this mess. They all left. Well, if you're talking about teams leaving the Big 12, they haven't all left. They have. I mean, we're 16 teams strong. Like I said, if someone's going to have a problem because of private equity, tear your ass. To me, it's that simple. Now, I don't believe we're AAR. I don't believe we're at that point. And I don't believe there's any hard no's. There may be some hard yeses, but I don't think we're at a hard no point with any team. I think some teams may need more convincing than others, but we'll see how that plays out. That's up to Yormark to get as many teams on board as you can. Get the sweetest deal out there that you can. But at least that's the way it feels to me, AAR. Do you miss playing Texas annually or not? No. I don't. I don't. I love what we have. I love these 16 teams. This is awesome. And like I said, it would suck if we, one of them decided to pack up and leave, go back to the Pac-12 or whatever because of private equity. Well, then we'll find someone else. I mean, it's really that simple. You don't think Oregon State and Washington State in a couple of years in 2031 would love to come on over? They would. We have replacements ready to go. So, look, I don't want to lose anybody, but if you're going to have that much of a corn cob up your ass, okay. But as far as Texas, no, Texas OU, I'm. That was the thing holding me back from being such a big Big 12 fan, was those two teams. I got tired of everything. Everything about the Big 12 was always dominated by them. Every part of it. You couldn't have any Big 12 discussion without Texas and OU. And I understand. Dude, I understand. I understand why. I really do. But I'm like, can I hear more about TCU? Yeah, more about TCU. We hear something about Kansas State. We hear something about somebody. That's not Texas and not OU. Never was going to happen. They did us a big favor. When they left, my fandom for the Big 12 just blew up. So no, I don't miss them whatsoever. They are Mizzou, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, and A&M. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Nebraska would be cool to have back. That ain't happening. Mizzou, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I don't miss A&M. I'm fine with Texas and Oklahoma. Peace out. Done with them. Done with them. Oregon is probably never going back to the Pac 12s. No, they're not. Same thing with Washington. Nope. USC. No. I could possibly see UCLA going back because I don't think UCLA could ever be competitive. They're making that money. They ain't going back. Competitive or no. You know what? They'll be competitive in basketball. You know, I mean, I know they're not what they once were in basketball, but they still put really good teams out there. They're still UCLA. You know, they can recruit badass players. So in basketball, that's where they're a blue blood. They ain't worried about it. I mean, how competitive were they in the Pac 12? How many Pac 12 football titles did UCLA win? I'm going to guess not many. I'm not a Pac 12 expert. I'm just going to guess not that many. They weren't all that successful in that conference. As far as football goes. That's true. I forgot about basketball, but football is going to be very hard for them. Yeah, but they'll dry their tears with $100 bills. They $1,000 bills. They don't care. UCLA was broke. Now they'll never be broke again. Well, they are in California. California, not good with money. So we'll see. But they got a lot more money, so that'll help. UCLA isn't broke. It's not like they're short of money, but they don't seem to prioritize football. Well, in the Big Ten, I bet they'll prioritize it a little more. I bet they'll prioritize because, in the Pac, you can get away with that. Colorado wasn't prioritizing jack shit when it came to football. There were some other schools that Cal didn't seem like they gave a damn. But in the Big Ten, where they're pushing, they're going to need to go ahead and get a little better in football. They're going to have to at least up their amount of spending on it. They're going to pay attention to it. And I believe they will. The Big Ten, it's going to sound weird, but I think they're a little bit more open than the SEC is. In other words, I could see one day Maryland breaking through and at least contending for a Big Ten title. UCLA, with the right investments, the right coach, the right players, yes, they can. They can. Rutgers is different. It's going to be a little difficult. But hell, look at Indiana this year. Look at Indiana this year. It can happen for the Big Ten. As far as having some of your lower rung schools rise up a little bit and actually contend for a title. The SEC, no. The bottom of the SEC will never, I repeat, they will never contend for an SEC title. It's just not happening. Mississippi State can kiss my ass. Ole Miss is a miracle right now. And they still really didn't vie for any title, but they were in the running for a while. Kentucky, Vanderbilt, no shot. I don't believe in the Big Ten there's as many no shots out there because, Michigan can have a down year like this year. Ohio State can have a down year. Now you got to hope Oregon has a down year. It's got to be some other people. Penn State. It's hard to have all of them have a down year. They have, that's the thing. But I think there's more people coming out of nowhere in the Big Ten. You can have that. I think that's more of a reality than the SEC. Oregon was in some financial trouble. Boy, I have a hard time. I mean, I'm not doubting you, AAR, but with the kind of money Nike puts into that program. I don't know. I don't know how much trouble, real trouble they were in. Let me just rephrase that. I don't know how much real trouble they were in. The UC schools, Rye Guy 1218, by the way, thank you for your comments. The UC schools have too high of academic standards, especially Cal and UCLA, the two flagships of the UC system. Yeah, you know what? I don't have it. I don't know a whole lot about their academic standards. I'm thinking Stanford is probably a little higher. I wouldn't doubt if Cal's a little higher than UCLA as far as academic standards. Because I mean, they're both state schools, Cal and UCLA, and I know there's all this prestige, but because like there's a lot of prestigious universities in the UC system, but I don't know if any of them are. I mean, well, actually, yeah, there are several that are about as high as Stanford, but I don't know. Because I mean, it's not like USC is that easy to get into. I mean, it's notoriously a fucking hard college to get into. So UCLA, I mean, I understand academic standards, but I don't know. Are they as high as Cal? I have a hard time believing UC Louisiana, Los Angeles, UCLA has as high as standards as Cal. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. AAR read $100 million. Well, $100 million on what though, AAR? That Oregon was in debt 100 million? That'd be huge. Rye Guy. Kentucky is the definition of a basketball school. True. But so is Kansas. But Kansas has become competitive here in the Big 12. This year's not a good example. But I mean, you got Leopold, really good coach. That quarterback, I had his name somewhere around here. What's his name? Shit. It's going to escape me. It's going to escape. Anyway, he didn't have a great year this year, but he's a talented son of a bitch. It wouldn't shock me if they were in the running for a Big 12 title next year. It shouldn't shock anybody. AR Basketball Arena. Gotcha. Those Pac-12 standards are often empty. Stands are often. Yeah, they were. They were. Apparently, Cal has 11% acceptance rate, and UCLA is 9%. Damn. So you're telling me UCLA is harder to get into than Cal? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, just to get brainwashed. Yeah. UCLA was 100 million in the hole, similar to Arizona State Sun Devils. Now, I didn't know Arizona State was in a funk. I thought that was Arizona, not Arizona State. I'd heard Arizona was in a bad way financially. And that would kind of surprise me with Arizona State, ASU, because they get a very large online footprint. They've had that for years. They've really, grew their footprint into Southern California and LA. So that would be surprising if they are that much in the hole, Arizona State. I don't know. Not doubting you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that kind of surprises me. Oh, anyway, guys, I got to take off. I got to run. And I appreciate you folks being here. Yeah, Arizona. That's what I thought. Yeah, I didn't think that was Arizona State. Arizona, absolutely. I saw the reports on that. Well, anyway, AAR, Rye Guy, thank you very much for coming in and being part of the conversation. Because after a while, I get tired of just, making up shit myself. Anyway, guys, I should be able to, well, I know this Monday I'm going to have family in town. We got Christmas. So this may very well be the last live thing I do for a couple of weeks. I would say New Year's Eve, that Monday before New Year's Eve. I'll I'll be live that day. Absolutely. See you, AAR. Thank y'all for being here again, and goodbye.